Japan looks like a dream. But behind the neon lights and bullet trains, life can be brutally hard. Tiny apartments, long working hours, aging population, and strict social rules. This is the side of Japan that tourists never see. To the outside world, Japan looks flawless. Spotless trains that run on time, cities so safe that kids walk home alone, cutting-edge tech mixed with thousand-year-old tradition. It feels like the future and the past, in perfect harmony. But behind the scenes, the reality for millions of Japanese citizens is very different. Because for all its beauty, Japan is one of the hardest places to live in the developed world. Housing is tiny, jobs are demanding, the pressure is relentless, and the future looks uncertain. So why is it so hard to live in a place that seems so perfect from the outside? Let's start with something basic. A place to live. The average size of an apartment in Tokyo is just 65 square meters. That's less than 700 square feet. For a family of 4, that's roughly the size of a 2-car garage. And if you're single, you're likely living in what's called a one-room apartment. Think bed, sink, and toilet, all in one space, often under 20 square meters, 215 square feet. Now let's talk prices. Buying an apartment in central Tokyo? Expect to pay $1 million or more for a modest 2-bedroom. Even in the suburbs, prices can be double the U.S. average per square foot. And rent? In Shinjuku or Shibuya, $2,000 a month gets you less than 30 square meters. No living room, no oven, sometimes no separate bathroom. Why is it so bad? Japan's cities are crowded. Tokyo alone holds 37 million people, more than the entire population of Canada. And because the country is mountainous, only 30% of the land is habitable. The result? Sky-high demand, limited space, and some of the smallest homes in the developed world. But maybe you can deal with a small home, if you're not there much. And in Japan, many people aren't. Because Japanese work culture is notorious. Long hours, endless meetings. Over time, that isn't paid, but expected. The term karoshi literally means death by overwork. It's not just a metaphor. Every year, hundreds of workers die from strokes, heart attacks, or suicide caused by excessive stress and exhaustion. A 2023 study showed that nearly 25% of Japanese employees work more than 80 hours of overtime per month. That's 2 full extra work weeks on top of their normal schedule. And quitting? It's taboo. People often stay with the same company for decades, even if they're miserable. Loyalty is prized. Individual needs come second. Vacations? Japan has one of the lowest rates of paid leave usage in the OECD. Many workers are afraid to take time off, worried it'll make them look lazy or selfish. Now imagine coming home after a 12-hour shift to your 200-square-foot apartment. No space, no family, no break. In Japan, millions live alone, and not by choice. Marriage rates are dropping, birth rates are plummeting, and many young people feel overwhelmed by the cost, time, and pressure of building a family. In fact, a growing number of Japanese citizens, especially men, report having 0 close friends. There's even a term, hikikomori, people who isolate themselves from society for months or even years. It's estimated that over 1 million people in Japan live this way. The social pressure to conform is enormous. People are expected to dress a certain way, speak a certain way, follow rules, even unwritten ones. If you're too loud, too expressive, or too different, you're out. The result is a quiet, invisible crisis of loneliness and depression. Now let's say you want a car. Simple, right? Not in Japan. To own a car in most Japanese cities, you need something called a shako shomei, a certificate proving that you have a parking space. That means, before you buy the car, you need to buy the parking spot. In Tokyo, That can cost more than the car itself, up to $500 a month for rent alone. Add taxes, inspection fees, insurance, and mandatory maintenance, and suddenly your modest Toyota is costing more than a BMW in America. And for what? Most Japanese cities have excellent public transit, which means having a car isn't just expensive. It's seen as unnecessary, even suspicious. Japan is aging faster than any other country on Earth. Today, 30% of the population is over 65. By 2050, it could be 1 in 2. And this isn't just a demographic issue, it's an economic time bomb. With fewer young workers, Japan faces shrinking tax revenue, exploding pension and healthcare costs, and a labor shortage that's already affecting entire industries. Nursing homes are overwhelmed. Hospitals are under pressure. And in some towns, more diapers are sold for adults than for babies. Even worse, many elderly people live and die alone. A phenomenon called kodokushi, lonely death, affects tens of thousands each year. If you're a student in Japan, your life isn't much easier. From a young age, children attend juku, private cram schools that run late into the evening, 6 days a week, all to prepare for brutal high school and university entrance exams. Failure means falling behind, maybe forever. Students sleep less, study more, and face intense pressure to succeed. Suicide is the leading cause of death among Japanese teens. Even after getting into a good university, there's no guarantee of relief. Because then comes the job hunting process, a ritual so formal and competitive that it starts years before graduation. Japan is famous for being clean, but that cleanliness comes with a cost. Garbage disposal rules are so strict that in some neighborhoods, trash is separated into 10 different categories and collected on specific days. Miss one? You'll have to keep your trash, sometimes for over a week. Want to use a public bin? Good luck. They're rare. Most Japanese cities don't have public trash cans. You're expected to carry your garbage with you, sometimes all day. Add to that strict rules about noise, pets, hanging laundry, and even where you park your bicycle, and life in Japan starts to feel less like convenience and more like constant regulation. Japan is a wealthy country, but for many Japanese, life is getting harder, not easier. Wages have been stagnant for over 2 decades. Meanwhile, the cost of living, especially in urban areas, keeps rising. Disposable income is shrinking, and saving for a home, retirement, or even a family has become increasingly out of reach. Young adults are delaying marriage, delaying kids, and in many cases, giving up entirely. This has created a feedback loop. Fewer births, fewer workers, more stress on the system, and an economy that feels increasingly stuck. So yes, Japan is safe, clean, and organized. Its culture is rich. Its people are kind. But life here is also full of quiet hardship. From the outside, it's easy to admire Japan's discipline and beauty. But on the inside, many are struggling with things that numbers and photos don't show. Tiny apartments, crushing work hours, social isolation, skyrocketing costs, and a future that feels uncertain. Japan is a country of extremes, and for the people who live there, perfection often comes at a painful price. Japan isn't the only country hiding a harsh reality behind a perfect image. If you want more deep dives into the unseen side of our world, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. We publish new videos every week.